Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Kristen, this is my booktube, and in today's video, we are going to be doing a little reading vlog. I am in the process of reading Project Hail Mary, like so many people probably are now that the movie has come out. It is my workbook club's pick for the month of March, and I have less than 3 days to finish the book. So figured that this is the perfect time to do a little reading vlog about the book. I am about 6 chapters into it so far, so I still don't know a lot of what's going on. Our main character is still recovering memories, so he doesn't even fully know what's going on. So I have a lot of this book left to go. Pretty much all that I know so far is that there is a problem with the sun getting dimmer, and it is related to these teeny tiny, like, single-celled organisms that they call astrophy? Astrogy? I don't remember exactly what they're called, but there are these little single-celled organisms that are absorbing the sun's light, traveling to Venus and back again. And I'm gonna be so honest, I don't think I'm gonna be able to regurgitate much of the scientific stuff that's happening in this book in any of these check-ins, because I don't fully understand it myself, but I will do my best to let you know how it's going so far. And so far, 5-6 chapters in, I'm really enjoying the book. I started with the ebook, and then I did get the audiobook so that I can listen while doing other things like crocheting. So that is what we're going to be doing tonight. And then I would like to continue with the ebook tomorrow and Tuesday. So we're going to be flipping back and forth between ebook and audiobook for this reading vlog. But hopefully in the end, it will make for a bit of an entertaining and topical reading vlog for this week. As of recording, the movie came out like 2 days ago, I believe. So I am trying my best to avoid any sort of spoilers online before I at least finish the book. And I have seen a lot of people saying that it is a very good book to movie adaptation. So I do want to go see it at some point. So yeah, that is going to be the main reading focus for this vlog. And then the main crochet focus is going to be working on this little baby dragon that I started. I have already finished the head and pretty much all of the limbs. I have the ears left to do, the horns and spikes that go on the dragon, and then I just have to assemble the whole thing. So that is going to be my crochet project for the evening, my reading goal for the evening as well. And yeah, let's just go ahead and jump on into it because I have like probably 11 hours left of this book to listen to. So we got to get a move on if I'm going to finish it ahead of the book club meeting on Wednesday. But yeah, so far very intrigued by the premise of the book, and I'm looking forward to getting more into the story. I've heard that it gets really, really good. So yeah, I'm just excited to continue on the journey with Dr. Ryland Grace, aka Ryan Gosling. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump on into it.
Alrighty, friends. Good morning. It is about 6:45 in the morning on Monday, March 23rd. I now officially have 2 days before my workbook club meeting on Project Hail Mary. So I am up. I was gonna once again say bright and early, but the sun is once again not up yet. So I'm up even earlier than the sun is. But I did get a good chunk of reading done yesterday. I basically sat and listened to Project Hail Mary as I was making this little silly goose that I'm working on. So during listening last night, I finished the entire body, these little wings that are being held on by hair clips, and then his little tail. but I did not sew anything together, nor did I make his beak or his legs. So I got a good amount of work done, honestly, while I was listening. And then once I reached a stopping point on the goose, I switched to listening and following along on my Kindle. And with all of that, I did make it to like chapter 11, I believe. I'm about like 40% of the way through the book. So I did a good chunk of reading yesterday, and I'm very confident that I will be able to finish it by tomorrow evening. So I won't be trying to rush and finish the book ahead of the meeting. Luckily, I already have the raffle prize sorted out, and so really all I need to do is finish the book and then pick out some questions for the meeting itself. So picking out the questions really shouldn't take too long. I can also go ahead and basically format the presentation and just put like little placeholders for where I want the questions to go until I can finish the book and find good questions for it. So yeah, that is where I'm at right now. And for the next hour and a half or so, I'm going to continue listening to Project Hail Mary while I continue working on this little goose. I'm going to start by finishing off the last couple pieces for this goose. I need to do his beak and his legs, and then maybe I'll get to sewing them on, but that would also require me going and finding a needle to use. It's like, I'm sure there's one in my little crochet hook bag, but I have ordered some new darning needles that should be here on Thursday. I ordered some of those metal ones that have like a little curved hook. I just feel like those are going to be so much easier to use for amigurumi than the straight ones that I've been using. There's like a hierarchy when it comes to darning needles, yarn needles, tapestry needles, whatever you want to call them. And I'm really hoping that these curved metal ones are going to be my new favorites. But alas, I don't have those yet to test out on this silly goose. But I do have some stragglers at the bottom of my crochet bag that will do the trick. These little like plastic ones are my least favorite kinds of needles to use for crochet. So I have them because they still work even if I don't necessarily like them that much. But I will not be using the plastic one. I will be using this little, you can't even see it. I'll be using this little metal darning needle to sew on the limbs and things for this goose, but before that, I need to finish crocheting his beak and his legs. I don't have a yellow color in this Parfait Chunky yarn. I thought I did order a yellow, but I guess I did not. I have an orange, but I don't have a yellow. So I guess I will have to add that to my next order from Hirschner's whenever I order more yarn. But I think that an orange beak and legs are gonna look just fine on this goose. So we're gonna do the last couple pieces in this orange yarn. It's just the Premier Parfait Chunky yarn in the color Carrot, and that's gonna have to work for us. So yeah, we'll see how that ends up looking. I don't know if I'll finish the whole goose before I start work today, but even if I don't, I will probably still be working on it after work. So you will probably end up seeing the finished product of this silly goose before the end of this video. Anyways, I am going to stop yapping and get to actually listening to the book and working on this goose. And yeah, we'll see how much I can get through before I have to leave to go to work. Alrighty everyone, checking back in. It is later in the day now. I just got home from work about like 15 minutes ago, and I wanted to just give you a little update on my reading progress and also my crochet progress. So we'll talk about the crochet progress first, because I did finish my silly little goose. And I sewed the wings on in a way where you can kind of like puff out his little wings a little bit. I thought about sewing them like flush to his body, but I don't know. I like them to have a little bit of movement to them. But yeah, this is the little goose that I made. I think he's very cute. And I got this pattern from an Instagram post. I'll put their handle at the bottom, but this pattern was pretty simple to follow and it makes for a pretty cute little silly goose. And I kind of feel like I want to make some accessories for the goose. Like, I don't know, I kind of want to make a little hat or maybe like a necklace or a cape. I think there are just a lot of little accessories that I could make for this goose. I could make like a seasonal goose where he has like different outfits for the different times of year. I think that could be very cute. I don't know. But all in all, I really like him. I think he turned out very cute. I love his little like floppy feet. So yeah, that's basically what I spent all my time last night / this morning doing, and I'm very happy with him. As far as the reading progress goes, I think I'm over halfway done with Project Hail Mary at this point. If I'm not over halfway, I'm very close to the halfway mark because last I remembered seeing it was about 40% of the way through. And I've read at least like 1 or 2 more chapters since then. So I think I'm getting close to the halfway mark. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting very attached to this little alien, Rocky. And I have a feeling that something is gonna happen to this little alien and I'm going to be very sad about it. But as of right now, the alien life form that Dr. Ryland Grace has come into contact with and has subsequently named Rocky because of his rock-like appearance. They have made contact and they have just started working out a system of communication where Ryland is able to understand what Rocky is saying more and more, and they're getting to know a little bit more about each other's species. For example, how long and often humans need to sleep versus Euridians, I think is what they're calling this alien life form in this book. And it is very cute. I am really enjoying their little relationship, and I'm sure from the little tidbits that I've seen that it's gonna get even better as it goes on. But I just hope that nothing bad happens to Rocky because my little heart won't be able to handle it. I am very attached to this fictional alien in this book that looks like a spider made out of rocks. And I will be very sad if something happens to him, if I'm being quite honest. So yeah, that is something I'm apprehensive about, but the story is so good so far that I am also just like wanting to read faster so that I can finish it faster and then potentially go see the movie and not have to worry about spoilers online anymore, because that has been the biggest struggle so far, is trying to get on apps like Threads without ruining the book or the movie for myself. But I will say that at least on Threads, people are good about using the spoiler feature, so it kind of like censors the post a little bit so that I don't just accidentally read a post that spoils a big part of the movie or the book for me. So I do appreciate that. I really appreciate the spoiler feature on Threads and people that actually use it for the correct reasons. So yeah, anyways. So yeah, that is pretty much it for my reading update and my crochet update. I don't really plan on doing much more reading or crocheting tonight. I may be able to do some later this evening, but as it stands right now, I need to pack a bag because I'm going to be dog sitting for pretty much the rest of this week. So I really need to focus on cleaning up my apartment and packing my stuff so that I can survive for the next couple days without being at my apartment. And I normally would listen to an audiobook like Project Hail Mary as I'm doing my packing, but I have a feeling that if I start listening to the book, I'm just gonna wanna sit down and just like take it all in and not actually be productive, and I don't want that. So we'll have to see. I do have another book by Geneva Rose that I am listening to as well. I started it last week and it was called You Shouldn't Have Come Here, I believe. So I could continue listening to that. It was still really early in the setup phase for that thriller. for that thriller, so I'm not that far into it at all. Or I may just end up putting on some YouTube video or something like that. We'll see, we'll see. But I do want to go ahead and get started with the packing and the cleaning and all of that stuff, because I do want to read more of Project Hail Mary tonight. And the only way I'm gonna get to do that is if I get all my other stuff done. So yeah, I'm going to end this little check-in here, and if you see me reading and crocheting on this couch, then you know that I got all my packing and stuff done and I am in pure relaxation mode. So, but in any case, I need to get off my butt and actually do the packing because my bags aren't gonna pack themselves. So let's go ahead and get to that, and I will check in with you a bit later once I'm able to actually make some more reading and crochet progress. Alrighty, good morning, friends. It is the next morning. It is Tuesday, March 24th. It is about 7:15 in the morning. Don't know if you can tell, but it is still dark outside, so if the lighting's a little weird, that's partly why. I am getting ready to head off to a dog sit for the next couple days. But before I leave, I did want to give a little update and let you know where I am in my reading progress and crochet progress for the week. I did not get a ton of crocheting done last night just because, as I mentioned, I was mostly packing clothes and toiletries and things for this dog sit, but I did get a little bit done. I sewed the limbs and most of the detail bits onto this little baby dragon. The only things I have left are the wings, the ears, and the little horns to go on the head, and I also need to sew on some closed eyes. But I think it's looking pretty cute so far. I really like the star tail that I did. And yeah, I think she's looking real cute. But I do need to sew some fur onto the top of these wings, and that was pretty much where I hit my stopping point last night because I didn't feel like doing that. So that will be a project for later, Kristen, and then I will finish sewing all of the bits onto that dragon and it will be completely finished. So yeah, that's the only crochet update I have. I didn't really make anything new. I just sewed pieces of that dragon together, but I have made a bit of reading progress. So I'm currently on chapter 19 of Project Hail Mary. I have been listening to the audiobook. I did read a little bit on my Kindle last night before I fell asleep, but for the most part, I've been listening to the audiobook just because I have been trying to multitask and do other things. So I'm not sure exactly what percentage I am into the book, but I know it's over 50% because when I went to sleep last night reading on the Kindle, I believe I hit like 54% before I inevitably fell asleep. And then I also listened to a bit more this morning because I did some dishes and some general cleaning up before I head off to this dog sit. So I'm probably about like 60-ish% of the way through the book, and this little rocky alien is making me so emotional, and nothing has really happened. Like, he's just being cute and wholesome, and it pulls on my little heartstrings. Like, he just referred to Ryland, the main character, as his friend, and that just made me real emotional. It's just very sweet, okay? These two beings out in outer space trying to save their species and their planets from being destroyed. Both of them have lost all of their crewmates in the process of going on this literal Hail Mary mission. And it's just nice for them to find a friend, you know, that they're not alone anymore. And I know that it's probably going to end up emotionally wrecking me by the end of this book. I will probably cry. I have already teared up a couple times, and like I said, nothing bad has really happened yet other than the general premise of the book. So I don't really have any reason to be emotional, but yet here I am getting teary-eyed over this little rock spider alien thing calling Ryan Gosling his friend. but I am really enjoying the book so far. I'm pretty locked in on the story and what's going on, even if I don't fully understand all of the sciencey stuff. Like, there have been a couple times where Ryland Grace / Ryan Gosling in the movie will have a reaction to something that Rocky the little alien says that connects back to some science thing that he knows, and I'm just sitting here like, what does that mean? Why is that important? Just like waiting for him to explain to me, like I'm 5, why this is important. So that's been interesting as well. Leaves me a bit in suspense, I guess, waiting for an explanation as to why this one seemingly minor detail is actually very important. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for my reading update so far. I'm really enjoying the book, and I am still kind of in the middle of it, so I will have to report back when I read a bit more. But yeah, I gotta get ready to head off to this dog sit in about 10 minutes. So I need to start loading my car. And I probably won't do much checking in once I'm at my dog sit, just because I feel weird filming in other people's houses, but I will try to do at least a little check-in about my reading progress. But yeah, I will see you guys later, I guess. Alrighty, friends. So that brings us to the end of this reading / crochet vlog. So as you would have seen, I did complete my silly goose in this video, and I think he came out really cute. I really like him a lot. I really like how the wings turned out, how his feet turned out. I just really enjoy him in general. And I do feel like I need to make him like a little yellow bucket hat and maybe like a little rain poncho kind of thing. But we'll see when I can get to that and actually make him some clothing. But as he is, I think he's so cute, and I really want to make another one, but I think I only have enough of this white yarn to make one more. So next time I put in an order for more of this Premier Parfait Chunky yarn, I need to make sure that I order more of this white, because I just kind of ordered the white yarn just to have. I didn't have much of a plan in mind of what I was going to use it for. And then when I decided to make this, it pretty much took an entire skein of the white yarn. So now that I have something in mind to make with the white yarn, I can actually buy it with intent. So I will definitely be repurchasing, I was gonna say these colors, but I have plenty of the orange. It's really the white that I need to stock up on, because I don't know, I just think he's so cute, and I really want to make more of these geese in the future. Then the other project that you would have seen me sewing together in this video is this baby dragon. I got most of the details sewn on except for the stuff that goes on the head. So I still have ears, horns, eyes to embroider on here because the dragon's supposed to be sleeping, and then also wings on the back. But even so, I think that it's looking really cute. I really like this like star tail design. I think it looks really cool. There were 2 options for the tail in the pattern that I have for this, and I'm very happy with the one that I ended up picking. I think it looks really cool. And yeah, I'll have to update you when I actually complete this dragon. Probably will be in the next couple weeks, so I will try to remember to update when I do actually finish it in one of my future crochet vlogs. And those are really the only 2 things that I worked on while I was reading Project Hail Mary. So now we can segue into talking about the book. So I'm going to not give many spoilers because the movie is out now, and I don't want to spoil the movie and the book for people. So I'm going to try to do a little spoiler-free review for you. And I really loved this book. I think I ended up giving it 5 stars because it just really exceeded all of my expectations that I had for it. It's a book that I have seen out and about in the wild for years. Like, the cover of Project Hail Mary has haunted me in every bookstore that I've gone into, but I just had in my mind that I am not a sci-fi girl. I actually get quite stressed out if I think about space too much. It just gets kind of overwhelming. And a lot of like survival type sci-fi dystopian books like that are not usually enjoyable enough for me to want to read and deal with the anxiety that it churns up within me. But this one was really different than I expected, in that I was really expecting something more like, say, Interstellar, something more dark and dramatic. And it ended up being a way more wholesome story that touched a lot more on friendship, sacrifice, humanity, all of that stuff. So I think that that really helped me enjoy it a lot more. Plus, as I mentioned early on in this book, I just really love Rocky as a character. And he wasn't even really doing anything much to warrant an emotional response from me. But even still, like, I was so emotionally attached to him, and I was so worried that something horrible was going to happen to this little alien in this book. And I think that's just because I'm used to books that like set up these lovely relationships only to then have something completely tragic and irreversible happen to the character that you love the most in the book. So I was a little wary in that sense. But in the end, yes, there are dramatic things that happen. I'm not going to act like, you know, it's just smooth sailing the entire time, because it's not. There's a lot of troubleshooting that they have to do. There's a lot of teamwork that has to be done to get them both through their respective missions. But it's done in such a way that it's really focused on the two main characters and how they work together to get through those situations. And I really enjoyed the relationship building that happened in this book. And I did cry several times, actually. And a rule of thumb of mine personally when I'm rating books is if it can elicit an emotional response like that from me, it has to be rated very highly. And when I was thinking about like any qualms that I had with the book, I really didn't have that many. Maybe if I was more into sci-fi novels and I was more of a space enthusiast rather than knowing a bit but not enough to really critique any of the scientific things that happen in this book, maybe I would feel a little differently. But from my point of view, as someone who is fascinated by space but not obsessed with outer space, it made for a very entertaining and emotionally gratifying read, I would say. I have not had a chance to go see the movie yet. I really want to, and my mom also wants to go see it, so I'm hoping that she and I can make some time to go and see it in theaters in the coming weeks, but we will have to see. I know that everyone that I've talked to that has read the book and seen the movie, or just seen the movie and not read the book, have all had glowing reviews of the film itself. So no matter what, I do want to see the movie. I would prefer to see it in theaters just because, you know, it's the experience of like seeing it on the big screen and having the surround sound and all of that is just, it really changes the viewing experience than if I were to wait until it came to streaming and watch it at home. Most of the time that is what I like to do because I do not go to the movies that often. I will usually just wait for it to go on some streaming service. But this is one that I feel like is like made for a big screen like that. So hopefully I can go see it sometime in the near future. But if I do, I am sure that I will probably be updating you on that as well. So yeah, that is pretty much where we're gonna end this video. I really enjoyed Project Hail Mary, crocheted some cute little plushies as well. And I did do some reading of some other books, but they're nothing compared to Project Hail Mary, if I'm being completely honest. I feel like a lot of books are gonna be a letdown in the wake of Project Hail Mary. But nonetheless, I will keep reading, and I think I may even do a reread of some of my thrillers that I really enjoyed, just because I'm in such a rut with thrillers right now. I think I mentioned that I was listening to the Geneva Rose book, You Shouldn't Have Come Here, and I'm gonna be honest,
I'm not really vibing with the book that much. I think I'm still like halfway through the book, even though it has been a minute since I picked it up. And that's mostly because it just took so long to actually get into the thriller part of this book. Like, it almost felt like a romance for the first half of the book, because there are two characters that are like kind of flirting with each other throughout the first part of the book, and it's mainly about that budding romance almost. And I was just sitting there listening to it, and I was like, okay, when are we gonna get to the thrilling part? Like, if I wanted to read a romance, I would read a romance, but that's not what I signed up for here. So I will more than likely finish that book, but it will probably be a bit of a chore for me. And I was talking about Alice Feeney with my aunt, who is also a reader, yesterday. So I think I may go back and see if I can get Rock, Paper, Scissors, because that was one of my favorite books that I've read by Alice Feeney. And I just feel like I need a good thriller. I just need something that is hitting those notes that I want in a thriller. And this Geneva Rose book just is not really doing it, even though I will still finish it. Maybe it'll get better the farther I get into the book, but as of right now, I'm just annoyed that this is basically feeling like a romance instead of the thriller that I wanted. But in any case, those are all books that we can talk about in the future when I get to reading them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like down below. Let me know. You should also subscribe while you're down there, because I put out new videos pretty much every single week when my mental health is not dragging me down. And yeah, I hope you all are having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.